Wednesday edition, Mr. Relevant, presented by Door County Distillery. Alex Strouf hanging out with you from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue, downtown Milwaukee. Josh DiMaggio is here as well. Producer Tiny Hands almost back to full strength following a bout with a cold, or I don't know what he had going on exactly. Sinusy. Back at the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison. Good to have Hunter back with us. Good to have Joshy here. Good to be with you on this lovely Wednesday. The weather's been terrific in the state of Wisconsin, man. It's like 75 degrees out again today. Tomorrow's Halloween. It's a good sign, man. Good sign in terms of weather. I'm in a happy mood, which I should be, because Monday, I don't know that you could qualify that as a happy mood for me. Following the Packers win over the Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't think you could qualify it as happy, because I wasn't. I was a little bit disappointed in the efforts the Packers made against the Jags. It didn't feel like a very clean win. It didn't feel like a very good win. But I'm feeling better now. Right? You get some good news. You acknowledge that the Packers are 6-2 with a huge game on the line this weekend. So I'm feeling good today. Joshy, are you going to make it a goal of yours to kill my good mood?
We'll see how you behave for the next hour or so.
Okay. Well, you made some good contributions in show prep. I feel like we're going to have a couple good conversations today. We'll play a little one word as we do every Wednesday. We'll preview Packers Lions a little bit. I think I've set myself up for success in terms of behaving. So I think that's good.
You're always walking a fine line. You're one comment away from upsetting the entirety of the whole show.
Wow, that's bold. I don't know how accurate that is.
Oh, wildly accurate.
Hunter? Can I throw off the whole show with one comment?
Yeah, maybe. Like, some days, yes. I think there's other days where it's a no. So I'm not sure where I stand for today's show.
Okay.
So that would leave me to believe, on occasion, you totally derail it.
Yeah, that sounds like an accurate statement, I guess. Yeah, I'll let you have that one. I'll let you win that one. All right, let's start with the big news, which is really good news. And this is one of Joshy's guys. I know he's fired up about this. Second-round pick rookie linebacker Edgerrin Cooper winning NFC Defensive Player of the Week for his efforts in the win over the Jaguars. It was Cooper's first career start on Sunday. He only played 34 snaps, I think it was, 34, 35, 36, somewhere in there. 8 tackles led the team. Pass deflection. Forced fumble. Sack. He was a monster. And it continues to validate something we've been saying for a few weeks, which is when it comes to Evan Williams and Edgerrin Cooper, they need to be on the field every play. And for a guy that was not on the field every play last week against the Jags and winning Defensive Player of the Week, it just validates that. Joshy's been a vindicated man in the month of October. This is more vindication to end the month for Joshy as Edgerrin Cooper wins Defensive Player of the Week. It's a well-deserved award, and I think the Packers have a really strong future at linebacker. Might not be Quay Walker, the former first-round pick, but it's certainly so far looking like it could be Edgerrin Cooper, the rookie second-round pick, Joshy.
When a guy continues to make plays like this with this frequency, it feels like every week he's got something going on where he's making a game-changing, a series-changing, a drive-changing sort of play. I know they've told us he makes mistakes. He's a little inconsistent out there. But if you're creating this many big plays with your abilities, I just need you to live with the mistakes at this point. It's not like Quay Walker or Isaiah McDuffie or Eric Wilson are playing flawed-free football. And even if they are they that much better that it compensates for it? The ability to take Christian Kirk and meet him down the middle of the field on a seam route, there's like a couple guys in the NFL total that can do that. And I want that guy in and around the ball as often as humanly possible. And it's really that simple. Keep bringing him on blitzes, keep finding different ways to use him. And maybe you don't line him up exclusively as the Will or the Sam or the Mike linebacker. Line him up at edge. Yep. Line him up in the slot. Make something happen. Figure something out.
I mean, it honestly seems like when he's been on the field, he's helped tremendously that defensive line. Yes. Right? Whether it is, rushing or blitzing, or is it dropping into coverage? Is it playing zone? Right? Like, it seems like he is helping create pressure when he's not always the one pressuring, which is indication of a good linebacker. And he seems to fit that role. They didn't desperately miss Quay Walker last week. Now, again, you're playing the Jags offense, which is not by any means super sexy. They're solid. They have some solid skill position players like a Brian Thomas and a Christian Kirk, and obviously Trevor Lawrence isn't an awful quarterback. But it's not like you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. But all in all, it's a good sign. You didn't desperately miss Quay Walker, who, albeit has been a little bit underwhelming this season. Edgerrin Cooper is a stud. Absolute stud. And this is well-deserved recognition from the league, winning his first NFC Defensive Player of the Week. He is the first Packers rookie to win said award since Clay Matthews 15 years ago. And his career turned out all right. Clay Matthews did. The last Packers rookie to win Defensive Rookie of the Week. Joshy, trivia question for you. Who is the last Packers rookie to win NFC Offensive Player of the Week?
Could it be Jaden Reed?
He did not win one.
Would they count Jordan Love? He had some pretty good games end of second half of last year.
But not a rookie.
That's right. Then we'd have to go back to probably Christian Watson's multiple TD games.
I don't know if he won one. I don't think he did either.
Didn't he have like a 3-touchdown game?
I think he won like the... He did, yeah.
The Aaron Ground
my trivia, yeah, I think he was like the
FedEx Aaron
FedEx,
Ground.
whatever it is. Yeah,
Yes.
I think he won that, but I don't think he won NFC Offensive Rookie of the Week. Let me double check that. But according to my research before the show, which was very minimal,
Yes.
admittedly, it's before Christian Watson.
Then I'm going all the way back to like Eddie Lacy.
That would be correct. However, it is incorrect because Christian Watson did win one.
Okay.
when he had his 3 touchdowns against the Cowboys. So it would be Christian Watson in 2022. But prior to that...
So I got it both times.
Yeah, prior to that, it was Eddie Lacy, which I don't know how I missed Watson.
Yeah, that 3-touchdown game I knew was...
Oh, no. He won Rookie of the Month, Watson did. But he also won Rookie of the Week.
So both of them.
And the last Packers rookie to win Rookie of the Month, which I didn't even know that was an award they gave out. You'll never get this. I'll give you 3 rapid-fire guesses. I'll tell you this. It was a defensive player.
Can you give me an era?
Yeah, 2010s.
2010s. Nick Collins.
Nope.
It's one of the corners.
It is. Not the one you're thinking of.
What's the name I'm looking for here?
The name you're looking for, the correct answer? Demarius Randall.
I was going to go with him
Wow.
or the other kid who played out of Miami.
Miami.
They drafted the Demarius Randall draft. They drafted multiple defensive backs that year.
Yeah. Well, they drafted, what was the dude's name?
Was it Rollins?
Yes.
Quentin Rollins
Wow,
from
good
Miami,
call by
Ohio.
you, Hunter.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't clarify. Yes, it was Miami, Ohio.
That
is a name I never thought I'd hear again.
Uh-huh.
Quentin Rollins.
I thought he was going to be so good.
Yeah,
He was
I
good
also
for a
thought
stretch
Demarius
there.
Randall was going to be good. So was Demarius Randall, and we see how that turned off.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I think Evan Williams is going to have one of these as well.
Oh yeah, he'll have
before
to.
the end of the
Rookie of the month or rookie of the week?
Probably the week. I don't want to but could Evan Williams have like multiple 10 tackle games and a couple interceptions? 100%.
Is there a possibility that Evan Williams or Edgerrin Cooper wins Defensive Rookie of the Year and Xavier McKinney wins Defensive Player of the Year? The odds are obviously very slim for that.
Who are we competing with from the defensive rookies?
Yeah, that's above my pay grade.
Yeah, I would have to pull up
I'll
the
do
first
some
round
research.
of the draft. But I don't feel like there's been that many standout rookies this year.
No, there's not like an Aiden Hutchinson.
It felt like a very offensive-heavy draft. There was a few of the defensive linemen that people were high on, but I haven't heard much of like the Latus of the world. I haven't heard much from those guys.
Quinyon Mitchell, Jared Verse is actually the favorite right now.
Yeah, Mitchell's been playing well.
Latu second, plus 525. Quinyon Mitchell, plus 1,300. Byron Murphy, plus 2025. And Kamari Lassiter,
Yes.
plus 2088. According to sportsbettingdime.com. You know what's funny about this show? Is I find things from the strangest sources.
It's a weird source to go to.
It happens all the time. where I just find the strangest sources. Oh, man, that's so good. All right, well, congrats to Edgerrin Cooper. Well-deserved, and, he's an every down guy. So hopefully Jeff Hafley takes this into account and does what he should, and that is start Edgerrin Cooper going forward. As good as body beautiful Eric Wilson has been.
Players like Edgerrin Cooper just force themselves onto the field. It's been slowly, like a steady, and he played a lot the most when Quay had to leave in-game, just simply because they didn't really have a game plan for that. But if you just keep doing this stuff, Jeff Hafley's going to have to say, well, I can't take this guy off the field. It is strategically disadvantageous to our team to not have him playing as many snaps as humanly possible. Because now it was under Joe Barry, but the Packers have just left guys on the field at that inside linebacker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of what other teams across the league want to do. They want to keep consistency there. The Packers have been rotating all season, and I think it's probably time to just pick one or two and let them roll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't argue with that. Your two would be Quay. Be Quay and Edgerrin, I think.
I think.
Could you make a case for Eric Wilson? Yeah, you certainly could.
Yeah, I think Wilson.
You could probably make a pretty good case for him.
Wilson, you put in on base downs and specialty packages if you think it's necessary.
Okay, interesting. All right, I want to get to Goody because we've got to have a big conversation around Goody. But before we do that, I just want to. I mean, this just coming out here as we're live. Rob Domofsky tweeting, "No Jordan Love on the practice field right now up in Green Bay. He rode an exercise bike during team stretch and did not go outside with those practicing. Also of note, 3/5 of the starting offensive line not practicing today. That would be Rasheed Walker, Elton Jenkins, and Josh Myers. That would be your left tackle, left guard, and center not practicing today. Also did not practice DNPs, as they called them in the biz. Josh Jacobs, the running back, who left Sunday's game a bit early, but sounds like he'll be all right. Jair Alexander, who limped off the field at the end of the game. And Evan Williams, who pulled his hammy. All did not practice today. So just to recap, no Jordan Love, no Rasheed Walker, no Elton Jenkins, no Josh Myers, no Josh Jacobs, no Jair Alexander, and no Evan Williams. 7 did not practices for the Packers. 7 of them starters. Oof.
I know we're going to talk more later about Jordan Love, but if, say, the O-line has to go out there with 3 backups or something against Detroit, do you just not even, consider playing Jordan Love then? Even if he would normally be I'll tough it out. If you've got 3 backups, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, he'd have a really good case for workman's comp, Hunter, right? I mean, that's just negligence. The good news is it doesn't sound like any of those 3 are going to miss. I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's like a veteran rest day. I don't know what they're dealing with. I haven't seen the official injury report. But all 3 of those guys finished the game on Sunday. So I would guess, it's just mid-season. Everybody's beat up. I would guess it's one of those. With those 3, we'll wait and see what the official injury report says. But none of those 3 were reported after the game on Sunday. So that's actually more surprising than it is expected, I think, which is good news for Sunday against the Lions. But to answer your question, which is a fair question based on this report, that'd just be negligence. Throw a hampered Jordan Love out there with 3 backups. Who would even start? Do they even? I think they only have 8 offensive linemen. So hopefully that's not the case. All right, let's get into Goody a little bit because he is so deserving of flowers and praise and recognition for what he's been able to pull off this season. Brian Gutekunst, his first several years as the general manager, was good with staying put, right? You had Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback, and that was typically good enough to win the division and get you into the playoffs and give you a chance to have a chance. Goody has evolved, though, whether that's from never admitting his mistakes to maybe not verbally, but in terms of the way he moves and the roster cuts and the changes he's making, admitting his mistakes. When it comes to Anders Carlson and Braden Narvison at the kicker position, finally giving up on Anders, having a very short leash on Braden Narvison, and eventually bringing in the guy who's won the last 2 games, Brandon McManus. When it comes to a Sean Clifford, bringing in Malik Willis, who he thought was a better option at backup quarterback if, God forbid, and he has, Jordan Love went down. When it comes to moving on from Aaron Rodgers at the right time, moving on from Devontae Adams at the right time, Goody has moved correctly the last couple of years. And the last 2 years, last season and now into this season, you are seeing the fruits of his labor come to fruition, if you will. Brian Gutekunst has made the correct moves, and especially the last season and a half, you have reaped the benefits of the moves he's made, especially this season. The Packers are 6-2 without two crucial moves Brian Gutekunst has made in the last 3 months. You might be 3-3, or 4-4 rather. You might be 3-5. If Sean Clifford started against the Titans and the Colts, do you think he wins those games? I don't. Maybe that Titans game he wins. I don't think he wins that Colts game. Malik played really well against the Colts, and so did Josh Jacobs, and obviously Xavier McKinney had a nice defensive game. But all in all, Brian Gutekunst made the right call at backup quarterback. Then when you look at the past 2 weeks, a dicey game against the Houston Texans. It was a question we asked last week. Do you think Braden Arvison or Anders Carlson walks off the game the way Brandon McManus did against Houston? We'll never know the answer to that question because it was kind of a chip shot against Houston. But you never had full faith or full trust in Carlson, and I don't think you did either in Arvison the way he missed a kick every game during his tenure as a Packer. So without the two crucial moves that Goody has made in the last few months, the Packers aren't sitting at 6-2. And for that, he deserves a ton of credit. Because I don't know if the Goody of 2019 is making these decisions. Shoot, I don't even know if the Goody of 2022 is making these decisions. But the Goody of 2024 is making hard decisions, but the right decisions. Specifically those two, though. Malik Willis and Brandon McManus. And I mean, when you look at the draft classes, by the way, of the last 2 years, think about all the playmakers he's drafted outside of the first round. Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft, the reigning Defensive Player of the Week, Edgerrin Cooper. A guy that this defense clearly desperately missed only 8 games into his NFL career when he left with an injury on Sunday, and Evan Williams. Goody has made his money in the middle rounds, but he's making a championship team by making these crucial moves. Like Brandon McManus, like Malik Willis. Without those moves, this Packers team is not 6-2. So give credit where credit is due. And the credit is due to the Packers general manager, Brian Gutekunst. But the job ain't finished. The job is certainly not finished. 6 days away from the NFL trade deadline. Look around the league, see what's happening. Which teams are making moves to get better? The Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Minnesota Vikings. And although the Detroit Lions have not officially made a move yet, just 2 days ago, Monday afternoon, Dan Campbell was literally jumping up and down with excitement about the potential idea of a trade. While I don't expect Matt LaFleur or Brian Gutekunst to stand at the podium at 1265 Lombardi Ave and jump up and down with joy and glee, they should probably be on the phone. We just talked about Edgerrin Cooper elevating the pass rush and the efficiency of the defensive line just by being on the field. As good as that is, it's still not good enough. This Packers team has expectations, and the expectations are nothing short of a Super Bowl. This defensive line specifically is not playing as well as a Super Bowl group should be. And that's okay. It's only October, but I don't think this is getting much better with the players on the roster. So that said, I think Brian Gutekunst has to make a move at the trade deadline in the next 6 days, specifically at defensive end or defensive tackle, preferably defensive end, but I wouldn't complain about a defensive tackle. You need somebody. I'm not asking for a Myles Garrett. I'm not asking for a Max Crosby. But how about a Trey Hendrickson from Cincinnati? Somebody that can come in and make an immediate impact in what seems like a very player-friendly defense. So as good as Brian Gutekunst has been the last 3 months, I hate to do it, but I got to ask for a little bit more. Please, sir. Can you get me some more, please, sir? Joshy, does Goody need to make a move for this team to be Super Bowl good?
I think absolutely. I think the production from the front four is, to put it bluntly, unacceptable so far this season. They are one of the worst teams in creating pressure. Their pass rush win rate is still amongst the worst in all of the NFL. Now, that might sound a little crazy because the Packers have created pressure, but a lot of it's done by simulated pressures and dropping guys into coverage and just frankly confusing the offensive line. That is no way to beat some of these top flight teams, some of these top flight offenses. You need to have a guy or guys that line up one-on-one and just beat the man in front of them, because sometimes the games are going to end up in that way, and you're not going to be able to create exotic pressures and do all that. So I was saying it on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy earlier today. Listen to that finely produced show, 7 to 9 a.m. when you get a chance.
Nice.
It's so bad with LVN. I believe he has 7 total pressures in
that is correct.
In
it's
games
7.
he's played now. If you had a guy who creates 2 pressures a game, you've infinitesimally improved.
Whoa. What the hell was that?
Infinitesimally.
Okay. It sounds like it's some spin-off of the word infinitely.
Yes.
Is that actually a word?
It sure is.
Josh, we've talked about this before. You can't use big words on Strouf. You've derailed the segment because of the big word. Don't do it, man.
Infinitesimal. Immeasurably or incalculably small. You used it incorrect.
I used it opposite.
In infinitesimal difference. Taking on values arbitrarily close to but greater than 0. So I don't think you used it right.
No, I messed it up.
Oh, Joshy trying to flex his vocab on us, trying to flex.
Those are just words that pop in my head when I'm talking. It's not like I'm searching through my brain.
What did you score on the ACT?
A 30.
Oh, wow. I mean, I wasn't far off, but I think I fluked my way.
Yeah, I went hungover.
Oh, I did. Well, great. I hope he took it as a 21-year-old. I got a 28, but I didn't use the word infinitesimal on my ACT.
The point I'm making is a guy making 2 pressures a game just improves wildly. Enagbari is not creating enough pressure. Frankly, Rashawn Gary, who's been the best, is also wildly disappointing. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, Gabe was kind of scoffing at Uche going from the Patriots. I forget where he was traded. But that guy has 2 sacks. Right now, he would be like one of the guys with the most sacks on the Packers.
Yeah.
Rashawn Gary has 2 sacks, and the guy either didn't get out of his stance at all or fell over the tight end trying to get out of his stance. Like, there's just simply not enough production happening from that side of the ball. And the best teams, and everyone will say it, every guy who ever watches football, if you could create pressure with 4, you are going to have a lot better defense. That is why the Niners have been so effective. Even when their back end at times isn't even that strong, their corners and their safeties. The Packers seem to be putting together the second and third level quite well, and that first level is severely lacking.
Yeah. I will say this. As much as you and I both want Goody to go out and make a move prior to the trade deadline on Tuesday, I don't think he does. It's just not in his DNA, right? Last year he was a seller at the deadline, trading Rasul Douglas to the Bills. I would love to see it. I just think it'd be very uncharacteristic of him.
I just think the NFL is changing now in a way that the Packers are at risk of getting left behind.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, even 5 years ago, trades didn't happen like this. We're experiencing more trades in the NFL than I remember throughout all my history of watching the NFL. Like, these guys, these GMs are bringing in players because, frankly, a lot of teams are just way more okay tanking. Like, they've seen other teams tank and said, hey, it wasn't that bad. You were able to rebuild. Mm-hmm. Like, the Packers were facing down that last year.
Yeah. So hold on. I don't mean to ignore what you just said, but I'm just stewing over here. If the Lions make a move, which we expect them to.
Yes.
Does that put more pressure on Goody to make a move because the Lions and Vikings both have?
I think it does put pressure on him, and I think if you're interested in the same guy and find a guy, say Trey Hendrickson, that might fit your scheme, and it's the Lions get to add them or you get to add him, why would you not either at least drive that price up to like exorbitantly high?
Yeah.
Like if you're just going to let, say, a team like, because Zadarius Smith is probably the most likely option for the Lions if we consider it. That ship sailed. Not much good he can do there. I wouldn't hold that against him. But if one of those premier guys become available, because as much as they tell us not available, not getting traded,
everybody has a price.
That always happens. The trades always come about, and then you see some of the prices for it, and you're like, you mean to tell me that guy wouldn't make the Packers better?
That guy was only worth a third-round pick?
Right.
I think back to like Montez Sweat last year.
Yes.
Didn't he go for like a third or a fourth?
Right, and at that point, like, what are you doing here?
Right.
Like, we're getting the team better. We're trying to get better. We're trying to win in the margins.
I would be significantly disappointed if we see the Lions make a championship move, right? And I'm not saying a Myles Garrett, but let's just use the name I used earlier. Let's say the Lions go out and get Trey Hendrickson for a third-round pick. I'm probably slamming the table going, I would have offered a second.
Yeah. Yes.
As good as Goody's been in the second round. Oh, shoot. Goody should just trade first-round picks. He hasn't been that good in the first round. Jair and Jordan Love are his best 2 first-round picks, which are very good first-round picks, by all means. But Darnell Savage was a flop. Lucas Van Ness has been underwhelming. Eric Stokes has been underwhelming.
The next best after that is probably Devontae Wyatt, who we've seen for like 5 good games.
Right. I mean, this year has been the first year Devontae Wyatt's put it together, and he's in year 3. Or is he in year 4?
3.
Year 3. Yeah. Because 22 draft, that would have been.
Yeah, because
22, 23. Yeah, year 3. Eric Stokes, right? Like, he's been nothing. So might as well just trade the first-round pick if you're Goody, because his first-round picks haven't been very good.
And I understand the cost-effective nature, and you've got Jordan Love's contract that just signed, but it's not prohibitively expensive, and it's not going to last forever. It is not like the Aaron Rodgers albatross, where you really can't get out of it, you can't wiggle it around.
Yeah. No,
the Packers have the cap space, and I think this team is young. Like, frankly, they're running out of spots to add guys. Because there's so many guys that you're saying,
that's a good point.
I want to figure out what this guy has, so I'm not ready to like move on or
bury him in the depth chart.
Right. So like, what places would you even feel comfortable making additions where you would feel like next year in the draft, what are you going to want? I bet you're going to want an edge rusher in the first round. What if you get one that's already good and you don't have to figure it out?
You don't have to wait. You don't have to trust the process, quote unquote. Right? You don't have to wait for him to bloom in 2 years.
If we were to predict what happens in the 2025 draft in Green Bay, first round pick, the Packers are probably drafting somebody along the defensive line or a defensive end.
Yeah.
Because where else do they have a need? You could say corner, I guess. Mm-hmm. But that's also like that's
corner depth, and you don't need a top guy because you have Jair when he's healthy.
Correct.
Safety, you feel good. You mentioned the second and third levels defensively. You feel really good there. I'm trying to think offensively, like maybe a guard.
Maybe an
elite right guard.
Josh Myers, but he's been playing well.
He's been playing well this year, in a contract year.
Yeah, you can always add offensive linemen. The Packers are never going to hesitate to do that.
All in all, I think there was one position that they need to target, and that is edge rusher.
Yeah.
That's defensive end. Will they? I'd be surprised if they did. I would be very happy if they did. Even if it's a depth piece. Let's say they trade a 6th-round pick for somebody. You're satisfied with that?
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Because I think you can. Some guys are better in rotational spots. Like
correct.
You bring them in.
Yes.
There's pass rush specialists. Like those type of guys exist. I forget the name of the guy from the Giants who's escaping me right now. He's like
Dexter Lawrence?
No, edge rusher. He's like a outside linebacker-ish style body. He's been mentioned in a few. I don't want to say the name wrong.
Try it.
Disrespect.
Try it.
No.
Okay.
But those are like a type of guy who you're just going to have.
Elijah Chapman?
Nope.
Rakeem Nunez-Roches?
No.
Azeez Ojulari?
That's the one.
Okay.
Like if in this situation you have LVNs and Enagbare snaps and give those to a guy you add that just is able to create pressure, why not? Like what's the disadvantage?
There's not one, is the answer.
Right. And especially a guy like that would probably not cost that much.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And it would be in the conditional range even.
I love the 3rd Street Market Hall. Did you see what happened to my left?
I saw someone near the window.
Yeah, somebody walked up to the Truth Studio, our sister station, 101.7 The Truth, and just swung his leg in the air as high as he could like he was a punter. And now he's just standing there watching it. I love I love people, dude. People watching is one of my favorite activities. Anyway, really good chat on that. Last thought on that before we get to a break, and then we'll hear from Adam Schefter on Jordan Love's status for this upcoming game against the Detroit Lions. Tuesday's going to be one of the wackiest days of my life. Think about what we do for a living, Josh and Hunter, right? Obviously, we cover, the Packers and sports, and we're talking sports radio. The NFL trade deadline is the same day as the presidential election, which, not to get political, looks very close, right? So it's going to be a chaotic day, both in the NFL and politics, and obviously we are smushed or set up here at ESPN Milwaukee. We are smack dab in the middle of 620 WTMJ, Wisconsin's news talk station, 101.7 The Truth, Milwaukee's Black Talk station. So politics and trade deadline. What a Tuesday it is going to be here coming up next week. All right, Jordan Love update from Adam Schefter on the aforementioned, well-produced Jen, Gabe, and Chewy weekday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. on ESPN Milwaukee. Adam Schefter gave an update on Jordan Love. We will get to that coming up next. But first, got to tell you about my friends at Door County Distillery, locally produced, handcrafted, award-winning spirits made locally in beautiful Door County. For me, football season, I always say it, man. Football season, fall, winter, it's whiskey season. Door County Distillery Bourbon is my go-to. Their single malt whiskey has won 27 gold medals nationwide because it's that damn good. The rye whiskey's really good, and maybe that's not your thing. You can get the cherry brandy, the apple brandy, make a little apple butter bourbon fizz, a warm drink, hot toddy with the apple brandy here in fall. If you're having some fun tomorrow for Halloween, or vodkas, gins, rums, all the in-betweens available from Door County Distillery and DoorCountyDistillery.com to find the retailer nearest you, as well as a ginormous list of fun, unique cocktail recipes that you can make for Halloween, whether you're having a gathering, maybe you're having a party this weekend. Get festive with it. DoorCountyDistillery.com is the website. We step aside for 60 seconds. When we come back, we hear from Adam Schefter on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Is it a good idea for Jordan Love to play? I'll answer that coming up next. It's Mr. Relevant. I'm Alex Strouf.
Happy spooky season. What's the best drink this October? My friends at Door County Distillery are going to teach me how to make it.
Fall in a glass. It's the apple butter bourbon fizz from Door County Distillery. All you got to do is scoop apple butter into a cocktail shaker, take 2.5 ounces of your bourbon, shake that, strain that, and then fill the rest of the cup with ginger beer. And if you like to, which I like to, dash a little cinnamon on top of that. Boom, shakalaka, you've got the apple butter bourbon fizz from Door County Distillery.
Cheers, the apple butter bourbon fizz. I'm not going to say it 5 times fast enough. There's like a apple cider taste to it.
Apple cider vibes, yeah.
That's like corn maze for adults drink, is what that tastes like.
Check out their website with a huge list of unique cocktail recipes at DoorCountyDistillery.com. That's DoorCountyDistillery.com. Yeah, DoorCountyDistillery.com is the website. Okay, I'm struggling with this one. I really want Jordan Love to play on Sunday against the Detroit Lions. I do. But with the bye week coming up and essentially having 20 rest days, I'd really like a healthy Jordan Love for the second half of the season, because if history, which tends to repeat itself, tells us anything, Jordan Love's pretty damn good the second half of the NFL season. When he gets comfortable and he gets settled in, man, woo, he was the best quarterback in football last year. I'm not saying he'll necessarily do that again. I might be saying that. I'm not saying he can necessarily do that again. I might be saying that. But I would love to have a fully healthy Jordan Love. Now, this is an important update. Adam Schefter appears each and every Wednesday on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, weekday mornings from 7 to 9 on ESPN Milwaukee. Had this to say to Mark Chmura. You will hear Chewy's question as well about Jordan Love's chances to play this Sunday against the Detroit Lions. Take a listen.
Adam, I saw your report earlier this week in regards to Jordan Love's availability on Sunday. As cautious our teams are today with injuries like that, do you still believe there's a pretty good chance he's going to play this weekend?
Look, again, it's Wednesday. I'm going to guess. I don't know this. He's going to be limited today, limited tomorrow, limited Friday, questionable, and then my guess is he plays. That's how I see this going in, and let's see how it plays out. But I know they have the bye next week, so they obviously, if they rest him, They would get 2 weeks for Jordan Love, and Malik Willis has played well. So that would be an option, and let's see how he feels during the week. But my guess, not a report, my guess, reading between, it sounds like everybody was pretty relieved at the way the testing came out. It sounds like everybody was relieved it wasn't worse than it was. And it sounds like he's going to have a realistic chance to play on Sunday. Now, whether he will or not, we'll see this week. But I could say with confidence he's going to have a realistic chance to play on Sunday.
Okay, there you go. He will have a realistic chance to play on Sunday. Now, one note, Schefter already wrong on one piece of that, but it's a very small piece of that. Jordan Love did not practice today. He was not limited. He did not practice at all. Did not participate in anything in Packers practice, which is ongoing up in Green Bay. So, otherwise, though, everything he said is interesting, right? It looks like he's healthy. It looks like he's good to go. It looks like everything came back better than they expected. But you got to keep that in the back of your mind that Malik Willis has played pretty well this year, right? I mean, he's played in 2.5 games and won all 3 of them. The poll is in the field right now on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee. Do you want Jordan Love to play on Sunday? 11 votes in, 6 of them for no, 5 of them for yes. So right now, no is leading the way. But Adam Schefter says, my guess is he plays. The big part of this will be, and we'll talk about it on Friday, what his availability is on Friday. If he doesn't practice on Friday, he's not going to go on Sunday. If he is limited on Friday, he has a real chance to go on Sunday. And ultimately, it won't be up to Jordan Love. If it was up to Jordan Love, he'd play, right? He's not going to defer to Malik Willis just because he's played well this year. It's not the biggest regular season game of Jordan Love's career, but it is on the Mount Rushmore in terms of most important. Has to be. You're entering week 9 of the NFL season. If you win this game at Lambeau Field, which, by the way, on your home field, if you win this game on your home field to kick off the month of November, you go into the bye week standing alone in first place of the NFC North, the best division in football. And you get 2 weeks to rest. As long as he comes out unscathed, which is, of course, an if. Mac on the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube channel. I certainly would prefer to Love to sit if he is anything below 100%. No reason to not have faith in Willis with how he's been performing. Now, I agree with that. And I haven't seen a ton of the discourse yet. And if Malik Willis starts and wins on Sunday, the discourse is going to be uncontrollable about who the starting quarterback of the Packers should be. But I just know Jordan Love is capable of so much more in that Packers offense than Malik Willis is. And that's not a knock on Malik Willis. That's a knock on his tenure. That's a knock on how long he's been able to pick up things. That's a knock on his comfortability in the Matt LaFleur system. It's not a knock on his abilities. It's not a knock on his style of play. I think Malik Willis is, I know this isn't an award, but he'd be the front runner for backup quarterback of the year. Jameis Winston might have something to say about that, though, in a couple of weeks. But all in all, Malik Willis has been awesome for the Packers. No turnovers, no interceptions, completing a ton of his passes, and they're not asking him to throw a lot. And Matt LaFleur is able to show off his creativity offensively when Malik Willis is under center. And obviously he does too when Love is under center, but that's just the basic Matt LaFleur expected offense. With Malik Willis, it's a little bit more ingenuity. It's a little bit more creativity. It's more end arounds. It's more slot receivers out of the backfield. It's more dink and dunk, their life away. Burn the clock up. And it's worked. But does that work against a team I view as maybe not only the best in the NFC North and maybe not only the best in the NFC, but maybe the best in the NFL, the Detroit Lions? I don't know that it does. So while I'm not going to walk into Sunday, if Malik Willis is named the starter for Sunday, I wouldn't walk into that game going, the Packers have no chance. But I would feel worse than I would if Love is ready to go. Now, to Mac's point, the comment I just read, I don't think Love is going to be 100% no matter what. Could he be 90? Yeah. Could he be 80? Yeah. But between the knee and the groin, he's not going to be 100%. But spoiler alert, nobody in the NFL is 100% in week 9. Everybody's banged up. Everybody's beat up. So I as much as I would like Love to play, if he doesn't, I don't feel awful. Which goes back to my earlier point on Goody. Credit for making this move. And credit to Matt LaFleur, who has to be the front runner for Coach of the Year. He's won 2 games, really 3 games. Half of your wins so far this year have come because your backup quarterback saved the day. It's never the way you draw it up, but a win's a win, and you never apologize about a win in the NFL. So, encouraging words from Schefter, yes. But, it doesn't tell me whether or not he's going to play, which I know Schefter doesn't know that. Nobody knows that at this point. It's only Wednesday. We'll have a better idea Friday. If Love is limited on Friday, that gives you the indication he's probably going to go. If he doesn't practice on Friday, that probably gives you the indication either A, he's not going to go, or B, the Green Bay Packers love some gamesmanship. But I would go with the former. I think Friday dictates whether or not he goes. The great part about this is, though, is the Packers' offense is different when Malik Willis is under center and when Jordan Love is under center. The Detroit Lions, who have a good defense, are preparing for 2 different offenses, essentially. That's a good problem. On the road, preparing for 2 different offenses, and they can only really lock it in 90 minutes ahead of the game when the injury report comes out. So all in all, good news from Adam Schefter. It's good news in the long term as well, right? Even if Love doesn't play, you get the bye week. He's going to be good to return against Chicago in whatever it's down to now, 18 days. So take that for what it's worth. I would like to see Love. If we don't, I don't think it's the end of the world. Even if they lose that game and go to 6-3, you're still in a good position. Bill chimes in on the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube channel with a great point. Credit to Tom Clemens as well. Yeah, totally. The quarterback's coach. The transformation from day one to last Sunday is night and day from Malik Willis. It's a really good point by Bill. Tom Clemens is the quarterback whisperer, man. And Sean Mannion, by the way, the longtime NFL backup, who joined the staff and is kind of Clements' right-hand man, has been huge in this process as well. So credit where credit is due. A lot
Oregon
of credit
State
due at 1265. Is that where he played? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Brandon Cooks was his wide receiver, and they put up a bunch of yards. I'll have to look that up, but that was 2014, I think.
Hey, man, it's not even what we learned time yet, and I'm learning stuff. Good on you, Hunter. Good fun fact there. Now, if the fun fact turns out to be incorrect, and it was not Sean Mannion and Brandon Cooks, that would be much funnier, but I hope you're right for the sake of it.
I'm going to look it up.
Okay, look it up. Look it up. So all in all, we'll keep that YouTube vote open, too, if you're on the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube channel. Do you want Jordan Love to play? It's not do you think, it's do you want. Now, 57% of you say yes, 43% of you say no, which I'm surprised by, but I would imagine the no votes are more in terms of, hey, let's get him back to 100%, the bye is coming up, and then, hope Love does what he does best, and that's light up the league in the second half of the season. I'm laughing because he only did it for 1 year. That's funny to me. All right, Hunter, what's the ruling? Sean Mannion to Brandon Cooks, electric duo at Oregon State?
He was for sure at Oregon State at that time. Still trying to find a box score that has their stats. One moment. Yeah, this College Football Reference is really difficult to switch that page without searching for it.
Yeah, there you go. Sean Mannion, Brandon Cooks keep pacing. Oregon
2013.
State connection.
He was drafted in the 2014 draft. So yes, they were there together.
All right. And they also played together with the Rams. Fun fact for you. So there you go. All right, we do this each and every Wednesday on Mr. Irrelevant. I'm going to give you one word on a slew of NFL topics ahead of Week 9 in the NFL. Now, for the first time in weeks, I have not previewed this list. Hunter sent it to me. My computer died. I never looked at it. I have no idea what's coming here. So we have created a list of banned words. Those include interesting, cool, sexy, frisky. I think that's about it. Intriguing.
Yeah, I think that's probably it.
All right, let's get to it. Let's play one word ahead of Week 9 in the NFL. Hunter.
Washington Hail Mary.
Comedy.
4-3 Bears at 4-4 Cardinals.
See, this would be a good one to use frisky in. Wow, I'm actually stumped on this one. It's interesting, but I can't use that word. Joshy, why'd you ban interesting? This is an interesting one. Bears Cardinals is interesting.
No, it's not.
You don't think so?
No.
All right, let's go with uninteresting for Joshy.
Kirk Cousins' pregame speech. For those that didn't hear it, I couldn't play the video, but he said to his team before the game, "We grind, we scrap, we fight, no cap. We walk in your trap, take over your trap."
Yeah, chains is the word. Kirko chains.
Anthony Richardson sits out a couple of plays and is now benched.
Strange / deserved. Sorry to use two words there, but yeah, checking himself out was really weird. I'd never seen that done in the NFL. And then to get benched is deserved, right? I mean, he hasn't played well. He is, and I know I'm using a lot more than one word on Richardson, but it is something I'm fascinated by because he is a guy that was viewed as a project. And they threw him into the starter role day one. He got hurt and missed most of last season. Hasn't had a lot of time on the football field, both in college or the NFL. And now I just hope they don't kill his mindset and his confidence because he needs time to sit and learn. And yeah, what he did last week was really weird. So deserved, I guess, would be the word I land.
The Minnesota Vikings trade for tackle Cam Robinson.
Contention is the word. And it's a contending move. They view themselves as contenders. They're making moves to get better. That's credit to the Vikings. Hopefully the Packers do the same.
The LA Rams are one game back from first place in the NFC West at 3-4.
Gross.
5-3 Broncos at 5-3 Ravens.
Frauds. The Ravens are better than the Broncos. Broncos are an interesting story by all means. Bo Nix has had a nice season, but the Ravens are the cream of the crop. I think they're going to dust them up.
The Jets have their 5th primetime game against the Texans this week.
I mean, that was orchestrated. That was done on purpose. And I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. Maybe that wasn't even on the show. The NFL schedule maker's name is Mike North, and he puts together, he deals with the networks, he puts together the schedule, and he decides which games will go on which networks. They did this with the Jets. They put them all at the early end of the season in fear that Rodgers would get hurt again. So I think this is actually their last one of the season. I mean, they might get a flex date later if they make a run, but they're so bad that I don't know that that's even in the cards anymore. So orchestrated is the word, and I actually don't have an issue with it because the Jets are maybe the best disaster on television aside from the Golden Bachelorette.
The Kansas City Chiefs are 9-point favorites over the Buccaneers on Monday Night Football, according to ESPN Bet.
Flat out bad. B-A-D bad. The Bucs are still good despite missing their best pass catchers.
And then finally, if the playoffs started today, Green Bay would play at the Arizona Cardinals in the wild card round.
Blowout.
Win was going to be my word. Yeah, they'd win. We saw what they did to the Cardinals. It's hilarious to me that the Cardinals are in first place of that division, by the way, because their record's not good. I mean, I think they're 4-4.
Yeah, which is also, though, why I think unless the Rams really fix things, it's kind of okay if the Packers don't win the division because they're going to get the top wild card spot and then probably have to go to one of those NFC West teams.
I don't love the idea of going on the road this year. I mean, we saw what they were capable of last year. They'll beat up on a fraud division winner, which is fine. But then guess what happens after that? If the home teams win, let's just say aside from the Packers as a 5 seed win, let's say the 2 and 3 seeds win. Guess what that adds up in the divisional round? Packers at Lions. Which, in all honesty, give that to me, but I would rather it be the championship game. It'd be we'd view it like we did a year ago. That's the NFC Championship game.
I believe in Matt LaFleur to outcoach Dan Campbell.
I do too, full-heartedly, absolutely. Do you believe that more in the playoffs, or do you believe that more this week?
More in the playoffs. That guy's chaos.
Yep, agreed.
Remember when he just wouldn't stop going for it?
Look, Dan Campbell is the type of coach that will shoot himself in the foot in the biggest moments. Now, LaFleur certainly did that early on, but I think experience has taught him not to do that as much because he did it in 2020 against the Bucs. He shot himself in the foot. But I think he's learned from his mistakes in that regard. And maybe he hasn't, but we'll find out. This is definitely a playoff team. Let me ask you this. God forbid Jordan Love's groin injury is way worse than it. So this is a hypothetical. Let's say last week we get horrible news. Jordan Love's out for the year. Packers are still a playoff team with Malik Willis, right, Joshy?
I think so.
Probably not a 5 seed.
No, I think they're talented enough to get into that last spot.
Really what? As in you don't think they would be, Hunter?
No, you guys have just been talking about for how many weeks about how incredible the North is and how great this division is. I don't think Malik Willis would be able to win enough games in the division for them to be able to get in. And that's not me being a hater of the Packers. I just don't think they could.
5 left?
Yeah.
They have 5 left. He goes 3-2. If he splits with the Vikings, beats the Bears both times, loses both the Lions. Let's just say that. 3-2. You're up to 9 wins. So you'd be 9 math guys. 9-4 with 4 games left. Which are what? The Dolphins, the Niners.
Which
who am I missing? Josh, the schedule's to your left.
The Niners should be healthy at that point. So
Niners, Dolphins,
Lions, Seahawks,
Saints. Yeah, Seahawks and Saints are the 2 I was missing. Split those, you got 11 wins. You split the division, you split those, you're up to 11 wins. You already have 6. It'd be hard not to make the playoffs at 6-2. You have to lose a lot more games than you win.
I know.
So that's why.
But you're also then asking Malik Willis to put a lot of film out there. And that's the problem when guys play well early.
And I think that's a good point by you because I think that's what makes me fear the Lions a little bit this weekend if Malik plays. Because the film's starting to get out there. I still think LaFleur's got enough tricks up his sleeve, but
I think a game of keep away is way better than a shootout against the Lions.
Yeah, and if Malik plays, that's going to be what they do, right? They're going to ground and pound, hopefully own the time of possession, and hope they win a 21-17 game.
Long sustained drives, maybe a couple explosives to make some splash plays, but you don't want that Lions team to be able to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But that still is a lot of pressure on that offense because then you have to convert on a reduced number of drives against an offense that can convert on almost every one of their drives too. It's not like it's not like a shortened game relieves the pressure that you have on your quarterback.
No, we're not. I'm not saying that. It's just saying a game could spin out of control like the 50 burger that they put on whoever last week, the Titans. You're not going to be in that situation with the Matt LaFleur and Malik Willis game plan.
Okay,
that's the point.
And a 50 burger still 50-45 loss is still a loss.
Yes, but that'd be a shootout, and that's to Josh's point. That wouldn't be possible unless they do what the Titans did, and that is turn the ball over 4 times.
Yes.
Who started that game? Mason Rudolph for the Titans?
I believe so.
Yeah, he did. He threw 2 interceptions. He fumbled once, and I think Tajay Spears fumbled once. I don't have the box score in front of me.
They gave up a punt return, I believe, as well.
Sure did. Khalif Raymond, I believe, took that back.
Yes.
Look, that's not going to happen no matter who plays quarterback for the Packers. They're not putting up 50 points. But it is worth acknowledging the Lions have put up 40 points 3 of the last 4 weeks. And the week they didn't, they still scored 31 points in a win. This is a really good team. It's a really good team the Packers are playing on Sunday. So, one way or another, it's going to be a close one, I think, no matter what, no matter who plays. But, yeah. So, there you go. All right. Time now to get to what we learned. You learn something new every day. I learned something new today, and it is a show announcement. I can officially let this cat out of the bag. Hunter, did you know we're kind of big time?
No.
Joshy, did you know we're kind of big time?
Of course I knew that.
Of course, ever since you've joined the show.
Uh-huh.
Gave us that credibility. And we got that credibility. Next week on Mr. Relevant, as well as across all of ESPN Wisconsin, ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison, ESPN Beaver Dam social media channels, and on the radio side. We're going big time. The first annual, which I don't think you can call it.
Inaugural, so word you're looking for?
No. I don't want to call it inaugural. I want to call it first annual. I know the word inaugural. I want to call it first annual. First ever inaugural, first annual, ESPN Wisconsin's Coaches Week through Mr. Relevant and Alex Strouf. I had the opportunity to sit down with all 4 Division I men's basketball coaches in the state. Greg Gard, Shaka Smart, Bart Lundy, Doug Gottlieb. All 4 of them one-on-one with me. Ahead of the college basketball season tipping off on Monday. Exclusive one-on-one conversations coming out next week. ESPN Wisconsin Coaches Week, hosted by me. You'll hear it on this program. All 4 interviews will drop on this program throughout next week. One-on-ones with Greg Gard, which I filmed last week. Terrific conversation with him. Shaka Smart is going to see my crab pose.
Yes.
You know, the Shaka Smart crab pose? He's going to see it. He's going to react to it. Bart Lundy in his second year. Doug Gottlieb in his first year in the Horizon League at Milwaukee and Green Bay, respectively. Going to join us next week to break down the start of the 24-25 college basketball season. We're big time, baby. Joshy, did you have any idea this existed?
Not a clue.
I like that I kept that from you.
Who approved of it?
Who approved of what?
You talking to those important people?
Nobody. I just did it, and I was like, hey, by the way, I did this thing. And they were like, oh, you? Ben Brust, who obviously played for Greg Gard, goes, no. You can't talk to him. Oh, I did. I talked to Greg Gard for 25 minutes, man. It was a really good conversation. So looking forward. We'll play that one on Monday. Greg Gard will be our Monday guest. We'll probably go Shaka Wednesday and then Gottlieb and Lundy Friday. The Badgers and Packers are both on bye next week, so we're gonna do a basketball week. Other than we'll do some Packers reaction Monday, and then we'll play our Greg Gard conversation. But yeah, we're getting into the college basketball season a little bit. College hoops. So ESPN Wisconsin Coaches Week will come your way next week on YouTube. It will come up Monday. Radio side, you can hear it Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday on ESPN Milwaukee. Still waiting on the schedule for ESPN Madison and ESPN Beaver Dam if you're with us any of those ways. But conversations with all 4 Division I men's basketball coaches coming your way next week. ESPN Wisconsin Coaches Week on Mr. Irrelevant. Which is brought to you, of course, from our friends, Door County Distillery and Underdog Fantasy. So before we get to Joshy and Hunter's What We Learned, I do have to tell you about our friends at Underdog. I'm back on track, baby. Got an NBA win last night. Little 4-legger. 3 points made. Shout out to the guys in my pick'em entry last night, man. It was a big one. So Underdog, use promo code Good Karma at sign up. GOODKARMA. Good Karma, all one word at sign up. You get up to $1,000 deposit match and a free pick. The best way to win money this football season, this basketball season, this hockey season as baseball comes to an end is on the Underdog app and UnderdogFantasy.com. Went up to 1,000 times your money playing their pick'em game. All you got to do, look at player projections on their stats, pick higher or lower. You can pick anywhere from 2 to 8 picks in your entry and win up to 1,000 times your money on the Underdog app, UnderdogFantasy.com by using promo code Good Karma. Joshy?
Thursday. My best friend Aaron Rodgers is playing against the Texans.
Uh-oh. Under? Lower?
Oh, I like the higher Devontae Adams touchdown because, boy, they want him to get in that end zone. Aaron wants to prove it.
I'm tailing this right now. I'm building it right here on the Underdog app. You can see it. I'm doing it right here.
I also like Tank Dell. We've now seen Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins go down in this portion of the season.
Tank Dell higher, half a touchdown?
I like the higher on his yards.
58 and a half.
To have to use him a lot. And then couple that with Xavier Hutchinson, 1.5 receptions. I like the higher on that one because he became pretty much an every down player.
So 3-pick entry. Devontae Adams higher, half a rusher receiving touchdown. Tank Dell higher, 58.5 receiving yards. Xavier Hutchinson higher, 1.5 receptions on the Underdog app. If you get all 3 right, that's 6.9 times your entry. So $10 wins you 69.10. Nice. I knew you were going to do it. All right. It's entered right there. Underdog app. That easy. I built that pick'em entry in 45 seconds? And most of that was because Joshy was taking so damn long to tell me the picks. Underdog app, UnderdogFantasy.com. You with us? Let's do it, baby. We'll tweet out that pick'em entry on Twitter as well. We'll get that out to all the people. Promo code Good Karma at sign up. All right, Hunter, what'd you learn?
Saw this over the weekend. Didn't get to it last show, but I learned that we really need to do a better job of vetting sculptors for statues on the video stream right now.
The Dwayne Wade statue, so bad.
Yep. My all-time favorite NBA player, Dwayne Wade, Marquette legend. He was disrespected. I know he's being nice in the press conference stuff, but that statue on top looks like Alonzo Mourning. It doesn't even look like Dwayne Wade. It's so bad.
What happened to us as sculpturists?
Sculptors?
No, that's not the word. Let's try that again. Sculptors. Yep,
yes.
That's the word. What happened to us as sculptors?
I don't know.
That we can't successfully make people look like themselves.
Yeah, especially when
we've
you
seen
see
the Ronaldo one make the rounds.
Yeah.
The Wade one is horrible. Like, there's so many bad sculptures recently and statues. It's very bad. Statuists.
Well, especially after
why.
the marble. Like, you look at, like, old Greek statues, and you're like, those look incredible. And they're thousands of years old.
But hold on a minute. Time out a second, though. You don't know what those people look like in real life. Maybe that's why. But maybe we have such high-definition cameras now and better memories and more available
you can
footage.
Still see the statue of David.
You know what David looked like?
No, but he looks like a person.
Yeah,
Well,
what
that's
about
really
that top
doesn't
image
it?
looks like an actual human being?
His proportions of his head are all off. He's got the squares drawn history. The weird part about this also is Dwayne Wade was like a part of this, so I don't know what this says about the way he views himself.
Yeah, he doesn't think he looks like Dwayne Wade. That's for sure.
I also, are we at the point where you can kind of just do like laser imaging and have this like just done? I know we want the artist to be a part of this, but like, couldn't you just use like high level lasers and precision? Like, CNC machines are capable of doing stuff similar to this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I just don't understand how it happens this often.
You also,
And like the pose is weird.
yeah, I thought that because like I knew eventually he was going to get a statue. Like, you do the alley-oop to LeBron with his arms out,
Yes.
and then when they put a LeBron statue outside the arena, you put it behind his to recreate the image forever. Like, that's what they could have done with those two statues. And I don't get why they went this direction.
I don't either. Josh, you got something? What'd you learn?
Yankees fans are just Yankees fans.
Oh, yeah, we didn't get to talk about that.
Yes.
So the MLB just released that they're only banned for Game 5?
I don't know what's going on with that. I feel like that they should be banned from baseball games from their life.
Oh, yes. So if you missed it, Mookie Betts jumps up into the crowd, chasing a ball, catches it, and he's literally off the ground, a fan hanging onto his arm, just about snapped his wrist and dug the ball out of his glove. Super messed up move.
I mean, when they cut to that guy's face, that is, if you were to draw in a lab the Yankees scumbag fan, that's the guy you end up drawing. There's a guy also in the frame who's wearing an Evo Shield sliding mitt that you protect. Baseball players wear it to protect their fingers from getting stubbed when sliding headfirst into bases. He's just wearing it in the stands. That guy's wearing sunglasses, and the other guy next to the goofy-looking Yankees fan who actually ripped it out, they're both wearing sunglasses. It's a night game.
Yeah, this was at like 9 p.m. Eastern.
Like, look at yourselves. This is ridiculous. And I know they probably don't want to, because I imagine those aren't cheap seats, especially if you're a season ticket holder, Yankee Stadium, all that. But you can't be physically touching the players on the field to rip the ball. And
No, not to that level.
And it wasn't I thought I could get it, we collided, I reached over. It was, I thought I was going to be able to positively impact the outcome of the play on the field. He was trying to change it. He didn't, obviously, but you can't do that. That's unacceptable.
No, I'm with you.
That doofus. Look at him. Look at that guy. Why do you look like that? Why is your hat not on straight? What's going on?
Get him, Joshy. Get him. Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to the Carolina Disco Turkeys.
As one would.
Did you see this?
I haven't an idea.
Carolina Disco Turkeys, independent baseball team, Legends of Summer Wood Bat Circuit, located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, made a tweet. We made a very important announcement earlier. The two New York Yankees fans who grabbed Mookie Betts tonight have received a lifetime ban from Carolina Disco Turkeys games. They will not be permitted at any DT's games for as long as they live. Well done by the Carolina Disco Turkeys, who I didn't know existed until about 3 hours ago.
Good way to get your name mentioned.
No doubt. No doubt. It's Madison Mallard's type thing right there, man. That's what the Madison Mallard social team would do, who is the best in the Northwoods League. Love that. All right, that does it for us. We will be back with you Friday at 12:30 Central, ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison on YouTube, ESPN Madison on Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Wisconsin On Demand, wherever you get your podcast. That's your way to consume Mr. Relevant. And if you're a college basketball fan, you're going to want to click subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Greg Gard, Shaka Smart, Bart Lundy, Doug Gottlieb, all join me next week to tip off the college basketball season for ESPN Wisconsin Coaches Week. Something I've been working on for a few weeks. So really excited to share with all of you the conversations I've had. And if you've watched this show a long time, you know I'm a giant college basketball fan. So really enjoyed these conversations and looking forward to airing those next week for ESPN Wisconsin Coaches Week. We are back with you Friday, though, to preview Packers-Lions. Jordan Love's practice status on Friday. Going to be really important to tell us whether or not he goes on Sunday. So can't wait to react with all of you on Friday. We'll talk to you then. It's Mr. Relevant, presented by Door County Distillery. I'm Alex Strouf. Have a great rest of the week. Peace.